Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Welcome back to WWE 2K20 Mega Tournament featuring the women here in January. My name is Michael Cruz. You're watching a Cruz production. And we've had two tournaments in the past, two winners of championships. Those two will go on to fight in the Fatal 4-Way match on January 31st. So, going through this, the last two tournaments, the first one was Legendary Women. The second one was the modern day stars of the main roster. And if you haven't seen that one was very, very weird. But now, here we go. We have our women outside of WWE tournament taking place right here tonight. And here at NXT TakeOver Blackpool. NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, sorry. We have Awesome Kong taking on Tessa Blanchard. Featuring NXT UK, we have Tegan Knox versus Toni Storm. Yes, I consider NXT UK outside of WWE, even though at the same time, they are women who are featured on main roster NXT takeovers, but they're not as prominent, I should say. We also have Rosemary taking on Britt Baker, who did make a cameo in NXT TakeOver. And two former WWE women, AJ Lee taking on Tenille Dashwood. But first off, we're going to go Awesome Kong and Tessa Blanchard. Thank you guys for allowing us to be in your home here today. We have a really great card for you tonight as my controller battery begins to die. Thanks again for joining us today here at NXT TakeOver Blackpool. Hit the thumbs up button if you have not done so already. And be sure to check out our January Rumbles. That's right, every day from now until January 31st, we will be having a brand new Royal Rumble taking place here. Those are my birds in the background. Ignore them for a moment. So this is the January 17th edition here. And here is Awesome Kong.
Is a championship first round match. Making her way to the ring from New York,
Awesome Kong. One of the most dominant women in wrestling. Period. Had a brief stint as Karma in WWE. Competed in the Royal Rumble, speaking of Royal Rumbles. And also was one of the most dominant Knockouts champions in Impact history. And here, the daughter of Tully Blanchard is Tessa Blanchard. Here she comes. This is... Unfortunately, don't have any of their current music, but whoever made this.
from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, just don't even say a name. All right, this is Tessa Blanchard, daughter of one of the famous four horsewomen, Tully Blanchard, making a name for herself in her own right as one of the best women wrestlers in general in history. Recently having a feud with Sami Callihan. At least I believe that was her. So Tessa Blanchard and Awesome Kong. I'm not quite sure if these two ever fought, and unfortunately this is my least known subject for these wrestlers outside of WWE. These two have competed... Never, actually. Tessa Blanchard recently fighting Gail Kim. Oh, they competed in something, I think. Not from what I've seen. So, Awesome Kong, Tessa Blanchard. Tessa going and hitting a nice snapmare on Awesome Kong, taking her down. Oh, what a clothesline. Definitely one of the best women's wrestlers in the game. Oh man, what a snake eyes off the top rope. There shouldn't really be any shenanigans in this match. Awesome Kong taking down Blanchard now. And against the ropes, Tessa Blanchard. But no, she counters. Knee to the face. And wrench in the arm here. Awesome Kong fighting out of it. What power from Awesome Kong. Again, I'm not very familiar with a lot of women outside of the WWE. But we have some great athletes here in this tournament. I know very, very little about each of these. Tessa Blanchard now. Running off the ropes. What could she be thinking? Knee to the face. Oh my gosh. It's taking down Awesome Kong. There can only be one woman outside of the main WWE that can go on to fight the likes of Chyna and Bayley in that Fatal 4-Way match. Yes, sorry, spoiler incoming. Chyna and Bayley won the previous 2 tournaments. We'll go on in Fatal 4-Way match. What a cutter by Tessa Blanchard. Going for the cover. 1, and a kick out at 1 by Awesome Kong. Tessa now beating down on the face of Awesome Kong. To the top rope. What could Tessa be thinking here? Awesome Kong trying to get to her feet. She's on her feet. Oh, man! What a code breaker from the top rope. 2 and 3. And just like that, Tessa Blanchard puts away Awesome Kong. Wow. What a performance by Tessa Blanchard. Awesome Kong didn't really even stand a chance in this match. Look at this. Look at that brutal code breaker. Tessa Blanchard. Moving on in the tournament. Now we feature 2 women, primarily from NXT UK. Here going back for a homecoming. Tegan Knox, Toni Storm. 2 women's wrestlers from the UK. Tegan Knox most recently, at the time of recording, I'm recording this mid-December, and most recently at the time of this recording, recently was beaten up by the hands of Dakota Kai. Toni Storm, one of the first NXT UK Women's Champions, and a former winner of the Mae Young Classic. I believe she won, didn't she? I'm questioning myself so much in this tournament. In this specific one, this is not my finest performance.
The following contest is a championship first round
And it's
match, making her way to the ring.
oh snap! Toni Storm from behind, taking out Tegan Knox. Oh my God! I didn't even realize that. What is Toni doing? Yes, Toni Storm is former winner of the Mae Young Classic. Taking out Tegan Knox. Oh man! Straight into the steel steps. No, now Toni Storm's getting chucked into the steps as well. Toni Storm on her feet. These two brawling on the outside. Tegan Knox now in the ring. Toni Storm trying to get to her feet. This attack may have slightly backfired. Oh, what a kick from Tegan Knox. Uh-oh. Toni Storm going for a roll-up pin. For some reason, even though the match has not started. Tegan Knox in the ring. The match begins. And Toni Storm with a kick to the gut. Toni Storm attacking Tegan. Right from the off. Oh, man. Oh, a hip attack via Toni Storm. Shot to the face. The New Zealander, former Mae Young Classic winner. Taking out Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox, once known as Nixon Newell here in the UK. A former What Culture Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. Been sidelined with multiple knee injuries as of late. But she can still go in the ring tonight. Oh, man. Last time Tegan Knox was in a tournament, it didn't turn out well for her. She lost months on her career. Hopefully, she will be able to compete here. Tegan Knox now in control, leg drop. And rolled through, leg bar. Tegan Knox got that in. Knee bar, submission. Will Toni Storm tap? And no, she gets out of it. Tegan Knox still in control. Excuse me, I misspoke a little bit there. Nixon Newell, a.k.a. Tegan Knox, was the inaugural World Culture Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. And at the time of recording, she hasn't done too much of the WWE, being sidelined with multiple injuries, but she is just a star waiting to come out of the gate. Toni Storm being a NXT UK Women's Champion, rolled through. 2 and a kick out of 2. Rolled through. 2. Back and forth these two go. Toni Storm. 2. Nixon Newell. Tegan Knox, I'm sorry. I keep calling her her old name. Oh, man, I cannot see. What is happening? I can't see anything going on. Anybody see anything? Count of 1 on the outside. You can see Toni Storm now. Leveling Tegan. Go for a headbutt. But Tegan Knox counters. Oh, man. Something's happening behind the camera. I cannot see. Oh, jeez. This game. Why does this game do this to me? Ah, jeez. Count of 5. Can't see anybody's in or not. Count of 6. Toni Storm. Oh, man. I can't even really tell what's going on. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Switch cameras for me, please. Count of 8. Can I see something? A count of 9. And Tegan Knox. Oh, wow. That was really close. I thought we were about to get a count out there. But Toni Storm. Oh, man. Underhook powerbomb. 2, 3. Okay. Toni Storm moves on. In the UK, attacking Tegan Knox on the outside. I didn't really see much besides this brutal powerbomb.
Here is your winner, Toni Storm.
Toni Storm moves on by albeit nefarious means. She'll take on Tessa Blanchard in the next round. Next up, we have 2 people who I actually know kind of a little bit of. Britt Baker, DDS. She's actually a dentist in real life. Versus Rosemary. Rosemary, one of the scariest women I've ever seen on TV. I remember her role in the Delete or Decay, and her role with the at the Hardy compound with Broken Matt Hardy. That's where I first got a glimpse of how Rosemary is as a competitor in the ring. And now these two set the lock up here at NXT TakeOver UK. Britt Baker, one of the first announced stars of the AEW Women's Division. Adam Cole's girlfriend, as TakeOver once said at NXT TakeOver War Games in November. Here we go. The arena gets dark. Smoke fills the arena. Can only mean one thing. That Rosemary is set to come out. One of the scariest women in wrestling is set to appear. Here she comes. Rosemary. A former Impact Knockouts champion. Also wrestled in Shimmer for quite some time, where she was a tag team champion alongside Sarah Del Rey. She was ranked number 8 on the top 50 female wrestlers 2014. And now she is set to go and battle in this tournament. Rosemary, like I said, is one of the...
The following contest is a championship first round match. Making her way to the ring from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada,
Rosemary wrestled as recently in 2017. She, at least as far as her wrestling career is concerned as of right now. Oh, no, Rosemary had recently been on Impact Wrestling, where she returned at Homecoming after being gone for a significant amount of time. Rosemary legitimately creeped me out in the beginning stages of what I saw for her at Impact, alongside Crazy Steve and Abyss. Rosemary set here for action. In order to go any further in this tournament, she has to beat this woman, Britt Baker. Britt Baker, DDS, set here for one-on-one competition. One of the best women's wrestlers in the business. Shout out to B. Priestley, her longtime rival. Unfortunately, could not get a spot in this tournament. But the doctor is in. And here we go. Rosemary and Britt Baker. So for one-on-one action, here we go. Rosemary going for a suplex, but Britt Baker counters right away. Bulldog! Slamming Rosemary down. The intimidation factor of Rosemary may not necessarily work on Britt Baker. She is as tough as they come, and you have to be tough to go through dental school like that. Leg drop from Britt Baker. Another one. There you go, Britt Baker in control. Drop kick from Britt. And a big spine buster echoing throughout the arena. Cover. 1. And a kick out at 1. Rosemary just sitting right up. Going for a big slam here, but Rosemary counters. Reverse DDT. A good matchup in the next in the semifinals between Toni Storm and, oh man, Tessa Blanchard incoming. One of these two will fight the winner of the next match, Chanel Dashwood or AJ Lee. Powerbomb onto Britt Baker as Britt rolls to the outside. Rosemary soaking it in. And going for a big suplex now into the ring goes Britt Baker. And Rosemary is in control. Kick to the back. Rosemary dragging Britt Baker into the center of the ring. Got her by the arm. Going for a flip and she nails it. Here at NXT TakeOver Blackpool. These two women set to define what women's wrestling really is. Enziguri by Rosemary. Britt Baker rolls to the outside. Rosemary trying to bring Baker back in. Suplex. And at this point, Rosemary is in firm control while Britt Baker's probably trying to figure a way out of this of her more powerful opponent. Rosemary definitely got the power factor as a cover. 2 and a kick out at 2. Britt Baker just gets the shoulder up. Rosemary has the power factor while Britt Baker may more necessarily be the more technical of the two. Britt Baker fighting back out of it. Big splash. Cover. And a kick out. Leg drop. Britt gets Rosemary to her feet. Kick to the leg. And now Britt Baker going for that armbar submission. Got it locked in. Will Rosemary tap? She has her own history of shoulder issues, but no. Counter into a Hurricane Rana. Beautiful counter. Rosemary and Britt Baker on the outside. What could she be thinking here? Uh-oh, Britt is caught. DDT on the apron. This is awesome chance for the crowd, but Britt Baker puts Rosemary back in the ring. To the corner with Rosemary. Rosemary up top. What could Britt Baker be thinking? To the top. Face buster. And Britt's not done. Going to the ropes. On the outside. Britt Baker, her own. Has Rosemary. A DDT of her own on the apron. The crowd on their feet trading DDTs on the apron. Britt Baker going for the cover potentially. Oh, Rosemary sat up. Rosemary sat up out of nowhere. Britt trying to keep her down. The crowd is on their feet for this one. These two giving it their all. Rosemary with the counter. Sling blade. Taunting in the ring. Britt Baker rolled to the outside. Now Britt Baker with a drop kick. Rosemary is down. Arm bar locked in. Perfect submission. Britt needs to put away Rosemary in the ring, but Rosemary throws Britt in. Britain. Rosemary's got Enziguri. She's got it ready. Forearm to the face. What could you be thinking here? Oh, what a suplex. Rosemary just stalking Britt Baker. Drop kick in the corner. Waiting for Britt Baker to get up. Spear! And the doctor is down. Spear, and that should be it, but no! Britt Baker stays alive. What a spear by Rosemary. Roll through. Oh, drop toe hold. Clothesline. Leg drop. The doctor is in control. Snapmare. Got Rosemary to her feet. Drop kick. Running Bulldog. Britt is in control. Rosemary with the counter. Float over. DDT. Britt Baker counters. The crowd is going crazy here in the UK. Britt Baker with Rosemary in the corner. What could you be thinking here? Turning around Rosemary. Rosemary with the big boot. Chop block to the knee. The crowd are going crazy. Jawbreaker from the dentist. Big splash incoming. Counter. Rosemary off the ropes. Sling blade. And here she goes up top. What could Rosemary be thinking here? Perch high. No, Britt Baker rolls out of the way. Drop kick. These two women giving it their all. Oh man, face plant. Sorry. It's early in the morning, as always. Locking the boot to the throat. Rosemary's got her hooked. Suplex. Going for it. Could be thinking spear one more time. And she's down. A spear to Britt Baker. Cover. 1, 2, 3. What a match between these two. Rosemary with the win. Look at this exploder suplex. But how about this DDT on the apron? With Britt eventually doing one of her own, spiking each other on the apron. And 2 spears was enough to put Britt Baker away. Rosemary advances into the next round. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 2 former WWE competitors will be competing inside the WWE ring for the first time in forever. AJ Lee versus Tennille Dashwood, aka Emma, for those who are just strictly WWE fans. These two have competed in WWE for long periods of time. Emma's most recent match in WWE was against Asuka. But AJ hasn't competed in years. Will she have a bit of ring rust? Maybe, maybe not, but we will find out here in just mere moments. AJ and Tennille. And here comes AJ. AJ Lee.
Is a championship first round match. Making her way to the ring from New York, AJ Lee.
AJ Lee, the wife of CM Punk, former Divas champion, one of the trailblazers of the women's division, one of the most edgy women in wrestling. She's here to compete in this tournament. Welcome back, AJ. And here is Tennille, also known as Emma, but for this point, Tennille Dashwood is here.
And from Australia,
Tennille Dashwood was one of the best women's wrestlers, and she still is one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet today. Here in this tournament, has made appearances for not only WWE, but also the likes of AEW and Impact Wrestling. Tennille Dashwood from Australia, one of the big Australian wrestlers like the Iconics. She hasn't really won many championships. In fact, the only championship she's really won was in Extreme Canadian Championship Wrestling. She won the Supergirls Championship a couple times. But aside from that, she's not really much of a championship caliber wrestler, whereas AJ Lee has won multiple Divas Championships, beating the likes of Nikki Bella, Paige, and so on and so forth. AJ landing on her feet. Kick to the legs. And a bit of a Salida del Sol. No! Wow, what a move from AJ. AJ now got Tennille Dashwood. Neck breaker. You gotta wonder if there's possibly any ring rust on AJ. There may be or may not be. Tennille now in control. Tennille, drop kick. What a move. Tennille as recently as the time of recording fighting Taya Valkyrie for the Knockouts Championship in Impact Wrestling. Shout out to Taya Valkyrie, who could not also be in this match. AJ with a clothesline. The winner of this match will fight Rosemary. AJ off the ropes. Intiguri going for a cutter. Tennille counters. Suplex time. Here in the UK. It's two. Locking up in the center of the ring. This match could go to literally anybody. What a roundhouse kick. AJ. Very kick oriented. There's that beautiful move sequence again. Man, face buster. Sending Tennille face first into the ground. AJ. Shining Wizard. Cover. One. And a kick out at one. Tennille Dashwood stays alive. And speaking of alive, there goes the crowd. Tennille Dashwood with a forearm to the face. Gut wrench. Maybe we could think of how it. No, this is a submission. But AJ with the counter. Emma sending it. AJ into the corner. AJ perched high on the top. Superplex. Superplex to the center of the ring, and both women are down. Tenille back to her feet. Tenille getting AJ up. AJ with a takedown, double leg. Tenille up on her feet. Black Widow. Locked in. Will Tenille tap? Will AJ make Tenille Dashwood tap out? Tenille stays alive. AJ lets her out. And going for the pin. AJ trying to pin Dashwood. Thinks she's out. 2 and a kick out. Oh. Zelina Vega. What is she doing here? Oh, look out behind you, AJ. Hammerlock DDT. Tenille Dashwood crawling to the cover. AJ might be down. 2 and no. AJ's still alive somehow in this match. Zelina Vega with that sneaky attack. Oh man, and now Tenille Dashwood is just in control. But AJ counters. The crowd going crazy. AJ fighting back. Going for a jawbreaker, but no, Tenille counters. AJ's up. And Tenille going for snake eyes in the corner. Suplex. But AJ's up. Look at the strength of Tenille Dashwood. And Dashwood sending Lee down. The crowd on their feet. Drop kick to the back of the neck. This got AJ up. Up on her feet, but no, AJ counters. Clothesline. To the top rope. AJ Lee climbing up top. Big splash. And now, no, Tenille fighting back. Drop kick to the leg. And now he's got AJ up. Oh man, what like a powerbomb suplex that was. AJ sending Tenille into the corner. Tenille now has AJ. Oh, what a chop to the chest. Top rope again. Tenille has got AJ. Could be thinking superplex again. Superplex one more time to the center of the ring. AJ is up. Body slam. Cover. Tenille Dashwood for the win, and she gets it. Tenille secures the win here against AJ. All thanks to Zelina Vega. Look at this. Zelina Vega walking away, but that one power slam was all it took. Tenille Dashwood moves on. We now have our four finalists. 3 matches left is what I was trying to say. Tessa Blanchard. Toni Storm. Here competing. We're not going to turn on entrances for this for these 2 matches. At least not for this one. Tessa Blanchard with little to no effort at all, defeating Awesome Kong. Toni Storm defeating Tegan Knox thanks to an attack in the beginning of the match. Now these two women set to lock up. Toni Storm, suplex, incoming. Tessa Blanchard is still relatively fresh, but Toni Storm is trying to make sure that that is not a factor here. Suplex. And Toni Storm. It's Tessa Blanchard up. Oh, what a chop. Goodness. The absolute brutality of Toni Storm. He's got Tegan. Got Tessa Blanchard up and down. Too many T's. Tessa Blanchard fighting out of it now. Trying to crawl to her feet. Stopping Toni Storm momentarily. But Toni Storm right back on it. Oh, man. Hip attack to the face. And this match so far has been all Toni. Toni Storm throwing Tessa Blanchard to the outside. What could she be thinking? Oh, what a drop kick through the ropes. And Toni Storm is in control. Count of two on the outside. And man, Toni Storm is just destroying Tessa Blanchard. And down the ringside area, Toni Storm in the ring. Waiting for Tessa Blanchard. But no, breaking the count. Toni Storm is a vicious competitor in this match. Tessa has not even gotten off the ground. Oh my gosh, what a slap. Toni Storm going for a roundhouse kick. Tessa counters. Count of 5 on the outside. Oh, slamming knee on the face. Tessa Blanchard, count of 7. Both women still on the outside. Toni Storm throwing Tessa Blanchard on the ground. Count of 9. Oh, Toni Storm's in the ring. Wow. Tessa Blanchard throwing Toni Storm in the ring and not being able to make the count. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Here is your winner, Toni Storm.
Toni Storm stole that one. Toni Storm stole that from Tessa Blanchard. The count of 10 and Toni Storm was back in the ring. Oh my gosh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have our next matchup. Rosemary and Tenille Dashwood. Rosemary defeating Britt Baker. Tenille Dashwood defeating AJ Lee in 2 awesome contests. But the winner has to fight Toni Storm. And Toni Storm is a kind of viciousness that I have never seen. So one of these 2 women, yes, they may be lucky for just a moment. But they could be in big trouble come the finals. Here we are back in England. Let me skipping Rosemary's entrance because that's very, very long. I forgot to turn off entrances. And here comes Tenille Dashwood. Rosemary and Tenille. 1-on-1. Here we go. NXT TakeOver Blackpool. Rosemary wrapping Tennille Dashwood over. Oh, what a kick. Tennille won with the help of Zelina Vega last time. But now, she's looking to go put Rosemary away. Both women in Impact Wrestling. Tennille fighting out of it. Big clothesline. Rosemary drop kick to the face. And Tennille Dashwood to the outside. Sending Rosemary to the outside. Count of 3 on the outside. Tennille in control. The last match ended via countout. Will this one end via countout as well? Count of 4. Count of 5. And Tennille's down. Rosemary in control. Count of 8. Count of 9. Will Rosemary get back in the ring? And she's in. Tennille Dashwood is out. Ref count. Oh my God, a serious ref. And now the count begins again because the referee doesn't know how to count to 10 fast enough. Oh, what a chop. This match taking place mostly on the outside. Bulldog from Tennille. Tennille in control. Rosemary down and out on the steps. Count of 5. Will these women be counted out? Rosemary throwing Tennille Dashwood. Count of 7. And Rosemary back in the ring. Toni Storm winning via countout. Now, Rosemary perch high for the spear. Got her! Nailing Tennille Dashwood. Tennille is down. Cover. 1, 2, and no! Tennille stays alive. Rosemary got Tennille up. Oh man, F5. Look at the strength of Rosemary slamming Tennille face first. Oh wait, she didn't go for the pin. Uh-oh. That typically is disaster. 2, and a kick out of 2. If Rosemary didn't go for the pin, that's typically trouble. Oh man, splash in the corner. Stomping on Rosemary now. Cover. 1, 2, and no. Rosemary just barely manages to get the shoulder up. And Rosemary's on her feet. Throwing Tennille off the ropes with a picture-perfect drop kick. Rosemary's got Tennille on the arm. Will Tennille tap? Will Rosemary make Tennille Dashwood tap out? No. Rolling through. Hurricane Rana. I mean head scissors, my bad. Rosemary's got Tennille up. Into the corner for Snake Eyes. Tennille Dashwood fighting out of it. Now Rosemary has Tennille on the ropes. Uh-oh. Going for a suplex. Onto the floor. Tennille just dropping Rosemary like a bad habit. Back into the pole. Rosemary now throwing Tennille into the ring. What a suplex to the outside. Both of these women are hurt. Tennille trapped in the corner. Chop to the chest. Rosemary now beating down on Tennille Dashwood in this ring. 10 punches in the corner. Tennille's up. Could be thinking F5, but no. Dashwood. Oh, going for an under leg takedown. Rosemary's got Tennille down. Tennille's up, but no, she catches her. Back and forth these women go. Oh, Pele kick. Tennille rolling to the outside to try to catch her breath. Back into the ring goes Rosemary. Oh, forearm to the face. Tennille Dashwood catching Rosemary. Big power slam. And here's the cover. 1, 2, that's it. 3. Tennille Dashwood moves on to the finals. Tennille Dashwood and Toni Storm set to take center stage. Tennille Dashwood moves on to our finals for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Here in one corner, we have representing NXT UK, Toni Storm. In the other, Tennille Dashwood representing Impact Wrestling. It's a WWE versus Impact Wrestling match we never thought we'd see. But it's for a SmackDown Women's Championship. On the line, NXT TakeOver NXT Women's UK Women's Champion, former Women's Champion in Toni Storm. Meanwhile, former NXT competitor and all-around fantastic wrestler, Tennille Dashwood. Here in this final round matchup. Here comes Toni Storm. Here at NXT UK TakeOver.
The following contest is the final in the championship tournament and is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Making her way to the ring from Gold Coast, Australia, Toni Storm.
Toni Storm is absolutely vicious, and she's coming in all business. Toni Storm, one of the most brutal competitors here in this tournament. One of these two women are going to join Chyna and Bayley in the Fatal 4-Way of Women's Champions. Toni Storm now. Set and ready to go. And here comes her opponent, Tennille Dashwood, who has had her own really great record in this tournament. Tennille Tennille Dashwood went in this tournament by defeating AJ Lee first and Rosemary. Toni Storm getting to this point by defeating Tegan Knox and Tessa Blanchard in nefarious means. Say what you will about Tennille Dashwood, at least she didn't attack anybody in this tournament. Granted, Zelina Vega did attack AJ Lee, and she got through that way. But she won her last match fair and square. No countouts, no craziness. Just pure wrestling acumen. Now these two set to compete one more time. Tennille and Toni Storm. Set to do battle here in NXT TakeOver UK Blackpool. And here we go. SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. Here we go. Toni Storm. Tennille Dashwood. Here we go. Oh, what a shot to the chest. What? Rhea Ripley? Rhea Ripley's entrance music playing, but no. Toni Storm going for... Toni Storm was going to put Tennille away. Toni Storm counters. What a big boot. Now what? Naomi? What is Naomi doing out here? Tennille Dashwood up on her feet. Distracting Toni Storm. Uh-oh. Suplex. Tennille catching Toni Storm. Oh, Toni with a big boot. Headbutts to Tennille. Toni trying to put Tennille away. Toni now. Underhook. Power bomb. Cover. 1, 2. And Toni Storm advances to the finals. We have Toni Storm underhook power bomb, and it was all over as Naomi watched on. Toni Storm is the SmackDown Women's Champion, joining Bayley and Chyna. Now we have one final tournament, and that is with Women of NXT. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have been Michael Cruz. You've been watching a Cruz production. I will see you next Friday for the final tournament, and then the following Friday for a finale. And I'll also see you tomorrow for another Royal Rumble. Take care and good night.